welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and today we're going to feature some books that are new in the large print collection at our library. So Jill, kick us off.
I know some of you love your large print, and some of you, it's the only thing you read, so hopefully we'll give you some good ideas of what you can read now. This is Be Ready When the Luck Happens by Ina Garten. This was added to our collection in the late last year. It was published in October of 2024. In her long-awaited memoir, Ina Garten, a.k.a. the Barefoot Contessa, author of 13 best-selling cookbooks, beloved Food Network personality, Instagram sensation, and cultural icon, shares her personal stories with readers hungry for a seat at her table. Ina's gift is to make everything look easy, yet all her accomplishments have been a result of hard work, audacious choices, and exquisite attention to detail. In her unmistakable voice, no one tells a story like Ina. She brings her past and her process to life in a high-spirited and no-holds-barred memoir that chronicles decades of her personal challenges, adventures and misadventures, and unexpected career twists, all delivered with her signature combination of playfulness and purpose. From a difficult childhood to meeting the love of her life, Jeffrey, and marrying him while still in college, from a boring bureaucratic job in Washington, D.C. to answering an ad for a specialty food store in the Hamptons, from the owner of one Barefoot Contessa shop to the author of best-selling cookbooks and celebrated television host, Ina has blazed her own trail and in the meantime taught millions of people how to cook and entertain. Now she invites them to come closer to experience her story in vivid detail and to share the important life lessons she learned along the way. Do what you love because you love it. You'll be really good at it. Swing for the fences and already be ready when the luck happens. So there you go, a little memoir.
I have a couple of her cookbooks at home. My first pick is Anthony Horowitz's Close to Death. This was added to our large print collection in January of this year, and it was just published at the end of 2024. This is the fifth book in the literary whodunit series, the Hawthorne and Horowitz series. And in this book, Detective Hawthorne is once again called upon to solve an unsolvable case, a gruesome murder in an idyllic gated community in which suspects abound. Riverside Close is a picture-perfect community. The 6 exclusive and attractive houses are tucked far away from the noise and the grime of city life, allowing the residents to enjoy beautiful gardens, pleasant birdsong, and tranquility from behind the security of a locked gate. It's perfect until the Kentworthy family arrives with their 4 giant gas-guzzling cars, a gaggle of shrieking children, and plans for a garish swimming pool in the backyard. Obvious outsiders, the Kentworthys do not belong in Riverside Close, and they quickly offend every last one of their neighbors. When Giles Kentworthy is found dead on his own doorstep, a crossbow bolt sticking out of his chest, Detective Hawthorne steps in. He's the only investigator that can be called on to solve the case. Because how do you solve a murder when everyone is a suspect? So if you like the Hawthorne and Horowitz series, we added a new one to the collection, Close to Death.
He has some fun ones.
Yeah, he does.
So this one is also one in a series. This is number 5 of the Deborah Harkness All Souls that starts with the discovery of witches, if you're not familiar with it. Diana Bishop journeys to the darkest places within herself and her family history in a highly anticipated 5th novel to the New York Times bestselling All Souls series, The Blackbird Oracle. Deborah Harkness first introduced the world to Diana Bishop, Oxford scholar and witch, and vampire geneticist Matthew de Clermont in Discovery of Witches. Drawn to each other despite long-standing taboos, these 2 otherworldly beings found themselves at the center of a battle for a lost, enchanted manuscript known as Ashmole 782. Since then, they have fallen in love, traveled to Elizabethan England, dissolved the covenant between the 3 species, and awoken the dark powers within Diana's family line. Now Diana and Matthew must receive a formal demand from the congregation. They must test the magic of their 7-year-old twins, Pip and Rebecca. Concerned with their safety and desperate to avoid the same fate that led her parents to spellbind her, Diana decides to forge a different path for her family's future and answers a message from a great aunt she never knew existed, Gwyneth Proctor, whose invitation simply reads, "It's time you came home, Diana." In the hallowed ground of Ravenswood, the Proctor family home, and under the tutelage of Gwyneth, a talented witch grounded in higher magic, a new era begins for Diana, a confrontation with her family's dark past, and a reckoning with her own desire for greater power, if she can let go, finally, of her fear of wielding it. So this was added to the collection last summer.
My next one is for those of you who like spy thrillers. This is Michael Idov's The Collaborators. This was published at the end of 2024. This is Slow Horses meets Red Sparrow in this electrifying, globe-trotting spy thriller featuring a brilliant young intelligence officer and a troubled heiress who stumble into a global conspiracy. Combining realistic thrills with sophisticated spy craft and witty dialogue, this book delivers a gut-punch answer to the biggest geopolitical question of our time. How exactly did post-Soviet Russia turn down the wrong path? Crisscrossing the globe on the way to this shocking revelation are disaffected millennial CIA officer Ari Falk, thrown into a moral and professional crisis by the death of his best asset, and brash, troubled L.A. heiress Maya Chow spiraling after the disappearance of her Russian-American billionaire father. The duo's adventure takes us to both classic and surprising locales, from Berlin to Latvia, Belarus, and a 1980s Jewish refugee camp near Rome. It's dynamic, fast-paced, and filled with captivating details that provide a window into a secretive world. The Collaborators is a first-rate thriller that pays homage to both meanings of intelligence. So maybe you want to check this one out in large print. Had a 3.81 rating on Goodreads.
So my next one isn't really a new book, but it's new to our large print collection. And this is a popular author, and I'm not sure, but I'm just starting to see her books come available in large print. So, The Inmate by Frida McFadden. If you haven't read Frida McFadden, buckle up, because she's got a lot of good books. There are 3 rules Brooke Sullivan must follow as a new nurse practitioner at a men's maximum security. Treat all prisoners with respect. Never reveal any personal information. Never, ever become too friendly with the inmates. But none of the staff at the prison knows Brooke has already broken the rules. Nobody knows her intimate connection with Shane Nelson, one of the penitentiary's most notorious and dangerous inmates. And they certainly don't know that Shane was Brooke's high school sweetheart, the star quarterback who is now spending the rest of his life in prison for a series of grisly murders, or that Brooke's testimony was what put him there. But Shane knows, and he will never forget. So this was first published in 2022, but it was added to our collection in January of this year. So The Inmate by Frida McFadden. There'll probably be more.
Her books sure are popular lately. My third pick is a series that I've talked about before, and this is A Farewell to ARFs by Spencer Quinn. This was published back in 2024 and added in March of this year to the InfoSoup catalog. It's a return to the adventurous New York Times and USA Today best-selling series that Stephen King calls, without a doubt, the most original mystery series currently available. Chet the dog, the most lovable narrator in all of crime fiction, and his human partner, P.I. Bernie Little, are back again. And this time they're entangled in a web of crime unlike anything they've ever seen before. Their next-door neighbor, Mr. Parsons, thought he was doing the right thing by loaning his ne'er-do-well son Billy some money to help him get settled. But days later, Mr. Parsons has discovered that his entire life savings is gone. Valley PD is certain this is an impersonation scam, but Bernie isn't so sure. With Mrs. Parsons in the hospital and Billy now nowhere to be found, it's up to Chet and Bernie to track Billy down and get to the bottom of things before it's too late. And this is actually the 15th book in the Chet and Bernie mystery series, which begins with Dog on It.
I love dogs as mystery people. So this is another popular author, but I think this came right to large print. Last Twilight in Paris by Pam Jenoff. This was published in February 2025. A Parisian department store, a mysterious necklace, and a woman's quest to unlock a decade-old mystery are at the center of this riveting novel of love and survival from New York Times bestselling author Pam Jenoff. London, 1953. Louise is still adjusting to her post-war role as a housewife when she discovers a necklace in a box at a secondhand shop. The box is marked with the name of a department store in Paris, and she is certain she has seen the necklace before when she worked at the Red Cross in Nazi-occupied Europe, and that it holds the key to a mysterious death of her friend Franny during the war. Following the trail of clues to Paris, Louise seeks help from her former boss, Ian, in whom she shares a romantic history. The necklace leads them to discover the dark history of Leviton, once glamorous department store that served as a Nazi prison, and Helene, a woman who was imprisoned there, torn apart from her husband when the Germans invaded France. Louise races to find the connection between the necklace, the department store, and Franny's death, but nothing is as it seems, and there are forces determined to keep the truth buried forever. Inspired by the true story of Leviton, Last Twilight in Paris is both gripping mystery and an unforgettable story about sacrifice, resistance, and the power of love. So, Last Twilight in Paris by Sam Jenoff.
My fourth pick is A Grave in the Woods by Martin Walker, published back in 2024 last year and then added to the collection just this spring. When Abby, an American archaeologist, arrives in St. Denis on the heels of her divorce, she hopes to make a new life for herself as a specialist guide for visiting tourists. So when a local British couple discover a grave from World War II on their property, Abby's able to put her training to good use. As it turns out, in the grave are the remains of 2 German women and an Italian submarine officer, all who had a big secret to hide. The women are suspected of having had links to the German garrison in Bordeaux during the war. It's up to Bruno, just recovered from a gunshot wound earlier in the year, Bruno's the chief of police, to unravel the mystery of why these people are in the grave and its contemporary relevance. His task is made more difficult by the horrible heat-domed summer, which is raising the temperature for miles around, as unprecedented amounts of rain drench the area and threaten increasingly dramatic floods.
Oh, no.
So as Bruno, our chief of police, drills to the heart of the case, matters get even more complicated when both Abby's financially distressed ex-husband and a mysterious dashing Italian naval officer arrive on the scene with 2 very different ideas in mind. Once again, Bruno's left to serve the guilty their just rewards and his friends some sumptuous cuisine.
Oh.
So this is a Bruno Chief of Police novel, book number 17 in this series. So I was not familiar with this one, but this one sounded intriguing to me. The World War II Grave in the Woods.
Grave in the Woods and rain. And, that doesn't sound good. All right. Okay, my last one. I'm going back to France again. The Secret War of Julia Child by Diana Chambers. Before she mastered the art of French cooking in midlife, Julia Child found herself working the secrets trade in Asia during World War II, a journey that will delight both historical fiction fans and lovers of America's most beloved chef, revealing how the war made her into the icon we know now. Single, 6'2" and 30 years old, Julia McWilliams took a job working for America's first espionage agency. Years before cooking or Paris entered the picture. The Secret War of Julia Child traces Julia's transformation from ambitious Pasadena blue blood to Washington, D.C. file clerk to head of General Wild Bill Donovan's secret file registry as part of the Office of Strategic Services. The wartime journey takes her to the Far East, to Asia's remote front lines of then Ceylon, India, and China, where she finds purpose, adventure, self-knowledge, and love with mapmaker Paul Child. The spotlight has rarely shone on this fascinating period of time in the life, I'm Not a Spy, Julia Child, and this lyrical story allows us to explore the unlikely world of a woman in World War II spy station who has no idea the impact she'll eventually impart. So this was published in late last year, and it was added to our collection just this month, The Secret War of Julia Child.
My last pick is Sophie Staba's Count My Lies, and I just read this week. And it was described as a read-in-one-night suspense thriller narrated by a compulsive liar whose little white lies allow her to enter into the life and comfort of a wealthy married couple who are harboring much darker secrets themselves. It was also described as a book that for all of those people who are still chasing Gone Girls and are fans of Lisa Jewell, Lucy Foley, and Laura Dave. So in this book, Sloane Carraway is a liar. Harmless lies mostly to make her self-proclaimed sad little life a bit more interesting. So when she sees a young girl in tears at a park one afternoon, she just can't help herself. She tells the girl's very attractive dad she's a nurse and helps him pull a bee stinger from the girl's foot. With this lie and chance encounter, Sloane becomes the nanny for the wealthy and privileged Jay and Violet Lockhart, the perfect New York couple with a brownstone, a daughter in private school, and summers on Block Island. But maybe Sloane isn't the only one lying, and all that's picture-perfect harbors a much more dangerous truth. To say anything more would be to spoil the most exciting, twisty, and bitingly smart suspense novel that came out. The thing about lies is they add up from their own truth and a twisted prison of a world. And in Count My Lies, the author spins a breakneck, unput-downable thriller about the secrets we keep and the terrifying dangers that lurk just under the images we spend so much time trying to maintain. So be careful what you lie for. So I read this not in one night, but 2 nights, and it was a quick, fast-paced read with lots of twists and turns.
I knew it was good because you're like, I have to include this.
Yeah, it was a quick one, and like I said, lots of twists and turns about, and a lot of lies.
We are due another Gone Girl, for sure. Well, if you are a fan of our large print, then I hope we gave you some ideas of what you can be reading that's new right now.
Yeah, check out some of the new stuff at the Kimberly Library. We thank you for watching our videos. You can find us on the Kimberly Public Library website, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. And until next time, Jill and I thank you for watching.
Bye.